required you to have some contacts with the community, in the community, that probably some other teachers weren't necessarily to have. And the fact that I went back to my hometown and taught, so I was teaching the brothers and sisters of the students who I went to school with. And most of the teachers who were there at the time were teachers I had had when I went to school there. And so that was an interesting experience. And when I was there teaching, the last 2 years I taught there, Big George Romney Sr. Passed a collective bargaining law for all public employees in Michigan. And so that was the first time that public employees had the right to bargain. I was on the first bargaining team, and we had we bargained 2 one-year contracts, and then the community had a big fight. The high school principal left, and the school board had, I think they had 5 of 7 school board members who came from the fairly well-off parts of the community. They had a couple of bankers. They had a guy that owned a refinery, and they had one guy who was a UAW president at a plant in town. I think they had a doctor's wife. So, and the fight was over a faction on the school board wanted to appoint as the principal for to replace the guy who left as the principal, a guy who was a high school history teacher. And most of the teachers thought he was not very good. He didn't correct papers, and he taught from notes about history that were 10 or 15 years old, and he didn't update them, and so Michigan had a law that the Michigan statute said that no one could get appointed to be an administrator who the superintendent wouldn't recommend. And the superintendent wouldn't recommend this guy to be the high school principal. So there was a standoff. And the teachers in the high school all got pretty upset about it, so they went out and circulated petitions and got on recall petitions for 5 of the 7 school board members to recall them. And they got more than 50% of all the voters to sign these recall petitions. And so it was pretty obvious that unless something changed, that 5 of the school board was going to get recalled over this big fight about this guy being forced on the school, the superintendent in the district as a high school principal. And the MEA came in, the Michigan Education Association, and had a staff in there and helped us with the situation. And finally, when at the end of the school year, they were going to have this school referendum about whether these school board members were going to get recalled or not. And at that point, the MEA, I was the chief negotiator, and they asked me if I wanted to go work in the Detroit metro area for them. And so I got a job working for them in Oakland County, or in Macomb County, which is the easternmost county along Lake Huron, north of Detroit, and St. Clair County and Huron County. So there were 3 counties that were directly north of Detroit. And I went to work with the MEA.